So you saw the thumbnail. This kind of happened earlier in the week. I didn't make a video about it, but I wanted to make sure to cover this because I thought it was, well, quite fascinating, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of nuance and context to the title and thumbnail of this video, right? About Sean Kirkpatrick confirming UAP crash retrieval program. It's true, but there's some context there. It may not be the truth you or I think it is. And it's interesting. So we're going to dive into that story. And I have one other story with Kevin Knuth. I hope I'm saying that right, or Kevin Knuth, or I think it's Knuth. I don't know. Anyway, talking about abductions. We'll get to that later on, which is kind of interesting. I just saw it. But first, let's give a shout out to our mods working in the chat right now. Thank you to all the mods, Chris, Daniel, Jessica, Allie, Justin, Heiser, Brookers. Who else am I missing? I think I got everybody. If I miss somebody, my apologies. And thank you to all the YouTube members for joining. All right, let's jump into the story, y'all. What do we say? All right, let's bring it up. Again, Sean Kirkpatrick doing an interview on a podcast called Event Horizon with a gentleman named John Michael Gaudier. I think I'm hopefully saying that correctly. And then the Daily Mail made an article about it right here. So look at this. Exclusive. Pentagon UFO chief reveals U.S. military's new alien tech crash retrieval program. What's the Home Alone face? Right? Like, wait, what? Is this the same guy that said there's nothing to this phenomena? We have no evidence of alien visitation on Earth, and all the programs and everything it's not real. Look at the ads on this Daily Mail thing. Jesus, they're going crazy here, y'all. You see this? Holy, calm down, Daily Mail. Jesus. See, ads like this, they don't work. It's just too much. I'm not buying Altoids or Lifesavers because of this stuff. I mean, it's nonsense. Anyway, let's forget about that. Let's get to this article. See, it makes it even hard to read the article, Daily Mail. Okay, fix your stuff. The Pentagon's former chief UFO investigator has revealed a sensitive new government program to recover, wait for it, alleged alien tech in the event of a shoot down. So in the event that we shoot down a UFO, there is a program, a new sensitive program to recover this tech. So we'll get into the details. I even have some audio of Sean Kirkpatrick on that podcast talking more in depth. We'll get to that in a second, but let's break this down. So he's saying it's a new sensitive program, right? New. That's the key. Let's keep reading. Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, a longtime CIA scientist who headed the U.S. military's UFO chasing all-domain anomaly resolution office, AARO, and he is no longer the head of AARO, right? Admitted to the program's existence when pressed during a new interview. That's all it took, pressing him, and then he just admits to this new program. That's also interesting, right? Don't you think? CIA scientist. Well, that means we can trust him. Just kidding. The retrieval program's protocols were for any UAP recovery involving everything from balloons to drones to alleged alien tech, as Dr. Kirkpatrick told podcast host John Michael Gaudier. In recent years, Pentagon brass, NASA experts, and academics have all reframed what were once called flying saucers as unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP. The revelation is the first time that the U.S. government has officially acknowledged a UAP or UFO retrieval program, despite decades of speculation and whistleblower testimony that America has already been in possession of alien craft for decades. Well, what's funny is this article says that the U.S. government has officially acknowledged. Is that really true? It's just Sean Kirkpatrick saying it, and he works for a private company. I'm sure he does contracts still with the government, but is he considered the government? If he says something, then the government is saying something. Does that make sense? So that's interesting. If the wording of that is peculiar, but still very good. God, it's jumping my page all over the place. Y'all are seeing this, right? I'm not doing anything. Holy cow. Daily Mail. It also comes amid multiple federal investigations into mothership UFOs over key U.S. military sites, releasing hard to identify, much less catch, drone swarm UFOs. This week, the Pentagon's North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, admitted that America's military installations have been plagued since 2022 by at least 600 so-called drone incursions, many still unexplained. And those are the ones we focus on this channel. The UFO community focuses on, right? We'll get back to these pictures here in a second. Good God, I swear the ads on that are absolutely killing me. This is crazy. Like, these ads are insane. Classified documents suggest that the new UFO crash retrieval program began in early 2023 with a focus on response and recovery and material transfer. Dr. Kirkpatrick initiated high-level meetings formalizing Arrow's version of a UFO crash retrieval program in January and February 2023. So pay attention to those details, right? What is that? About a year, almost 2 years, coming up on 2 years, right? So 2023, January and February, he starts getting together this program. How crazy is that? Right? They're putting together this program behind the scenes while he's investigating past cases of UFOs, right? That is very interesting. As one scheduling email explained, the purpose of the meeting is to discuss the disposition of funding within the context of safety and security implications of UAP. Establishing a receiving point for any and all recovered UFO materials was one key issue to be addressed, the meeting memo added. The problem is those types of activities are already covered under foreign material collection and analysis, as Dr. Kirkpatrick told Gaudier and listeners to his Event Horizon podcast Thursday. You see, I've talked about that too on this channel, that America already has crash retrieval teams, right? And we gather foreign materials from foreign governments, whether it be our own tech that has crashed on foreign soil that we want to go get back so other people don't get it, or their tech has crashed and we go and get it, right? We've already been doing that. Right. There's already been programs like that, and that would include UAP. But there was always this theory, and still is, right, that there's other programs specifically designed for UAP UFOs only. Right. And what he's saying here is in January and February of 2023, Arrow themselves started to put together a UAP crash recovery team, right, amongst other things. Right. But in the event of a shoot down, right, which is interesting. So he's basically trying to say there's already a program, but we wanted to create another one. There's already a process and procedure in place for many of these things, he continued. So this conversation was really to start asking, how do we document that for UAP? And what kind of procedures do we need to put in place? Since at least the dawn of the Cold War, America has had crash retrieval programs led by the CIA. But not compromising. Oh, that's a Freudian slip there. But comprising all branches of the U.S. military. These programs were set up mainly to acquire Russian and Chinese tech, including the CIA's top secret salvaging of a nuclear-equipped sunken Soviet sub in 1974. Equally important was retrieving U.S. fragments that had landed in foreign nations to prevent the Soviets from recovering and exploiting them. according to curator James E. David of the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. Now, let's go back up to that picture. That's it right there. This model of a sunken and deteriorated Soviet K-129 submarine was created by the CIA during its 1971 to 74 Zorion mission, one of the most elaborate terrestrial crash retrieval missions undertaken in secret by the U.S. intelligence community and now declassified. They went and got a whole damn submarine, right? Back in the 70s. I find that fascinating. Right? That is absolutely fascinating. All right, let's keep going. I wish I could change this to just be like read mode or something. Is there a way to do that? I don't know how to do that. I'm not tech savvy, y'all. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Sorry. It's just, this is the damn ads. Let's all write a letter to Daily Mail here. So it looks like these are, okay. So these are the documents here proving that this was done, right? So meeting purpose, UAP response and recovery, and material transfer, right? So there's some proof here. I'll put a link to this article afterwards so you can go check it out. There you go. Okay, so Dr. Kirkpatrick's later disclosure adds context to an intriguing release of 78 pages worth of redacted plans between Aero and U.S. Space Command, where the physicist had previously served as Deputy Director of Intelligence from 2019 to 2021. Space Command was only the just one. That doesn't make sense. Space Command was only the just one of the branches Aero consulted. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Leadership from the White House's Joint Chiefs of Staff also weighed in on the UFO recovery effort, including its directorates for intelligence, J2, operations, J3, strategy and policy, J5. Aero is congressionally directed to come up with not just standard reporting procedures, but also mitigation and response procedures in the event of a shoot down or a collection of any sort of UAP. Isn't that interesting? Right. Now, when he says UAP, literally the U stands for unidentified. So that's what we have to keep in mind. So from his standpoint, and potentially many others in the government, that doesn't mean alien, even though he does say alien tech. Just anything they don't know what it is, if they have to shoot it down and go get it. So I don't know if they're trying to wash out the term UAP and move it away from something that's non-human, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Like they're trying to make more UAP about drones and balloons and things, rather than non-human. So they may be trying to like wash it out in a sense. That's the kind of sense I get, which is interesting. To do that mitigation and response, as well as standardized reporting, he added, will occur through all of the combatant commands because they already have people in place that would collect crashes. So, see, that's what I've always said. Like, is it that the UFO community and people in the government and other people, have they been confused that these crash retrieval programs, they do exist, but not in the way they're saying, right? Because I've always asked, are these programs just for UFOs? Because what are these employees of these programs doing when they're not catching UFOs? It's not like it happens on the daily. Are they like firefighters just sitting around waiting to jump down a pole and jump on a thing? And how can they be so sparsed out all over the world, ready to go at a moment's notice? Because they don't know where UFOs are crashing. And apparently they're happening all the time, right? That's the word behind the scenes. So never made sense to me, right? But it would make sense that that program is designed to just retrieve all kinds of things, including UFOs, right? It's like a menu at a restaurant. Yeah, we serve a chicken sandwich, but we also got this, and this. The same thing. These programs are designed to retrieve all kinds of different things, including UFOs, right? So I've always been wondering if the programs exist, but they're not just for UFOs. And again, the bigger question becomes, let's forget all of this. Who get programs, this program, Sean Kirkpatrick's program, that program, foreign retrieval program. Okay. What have we found? Right? What have we found? That's all that matters. Where the, or, not that the other things don't matter, but at the end of the day, the UFO is what matters, the actual UFO at the end of the day. Then we can discuss the program, whatever. So whatever. It's still exciting, still very interesting. So it sounds like Kirkpatrick wasn't as dismissive of this, before. Maybe he's not as dismissive of this as we all thought, right? He was setting in place. He may not have believed that there was anything before, or that anything had happened, or that the government had anything, but he was setting up a process moving forward. If there is something in his mind, we can get it. I can respect that. I can respect that. But again, I also get the sense that they're trying to wash out the term UAP and move further away from that implicating anything non-human. All right. So he says, because they already have people in place that would collect crashes, right? Like we're talking about. Like if we shoot down another Chinese high altitude balloon, it's that team that would go and collect it, right? It's those procedures and processes on how it gets notified and how we go and get it. Space Command records records obtained via FOIA show that Dr. Kirkpatrick had meetings to establish Arrow's version of a UFO specific crash retrieval program on April 10th with General Glenn D. Van Herk, commander of U.S. Northern Command. Remember that name. General Van Herk, who led the mission to take down the infamous Chinese spy balloon back in February 2023, has also taken a hard stance on domestic UFO cases. He says, if there are unknown objects within... Oh, Jesus. I swear. Did I miss it? Yeah. If there are unknown objects within North America, he said, of the recent wave of baffling drone swarms over U.S. bases, go out and identify them. I'm in. Let's go. Look at this thing. I've showed that before. I've showed that picture before. Okay, let me read this. Whistleblowers with knowledge of a classified UFO reverse engineering program have opted to testify to the Senate Intelligence Committee, in part over their reported mistrust of Dr. Kirkpatrick and his Pentagon UFO office. Above, a page from Project 1794, declassified in 2012. So we're already building UFOs. All right. General Van Herk... I'm seriously going to, I cannot believe Daily Mail here. What? Now it's gone. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. Okay, grab this thing. You know what? Let's try this. I wish there was. I'm telling you, I cannot. I literally. Okay. Wow. What the hell? This thing is just going on its own. Okay. General Van Herk, who also had a leadership role over NORAD, has pled with U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin to authorize more electronic eavesdropping equipment to solve the severe national security mysteries involving the drone UFOs. But the general has also acknowledged that strict rules govern the use of this level of espionage tech over U.S. soil. Yeah, right? Although Dr. Kirkpatrick told Event Horizon's listeners that he found no evidence that the U.S. government has previously recovered an alien spacecraft via its past crash retrieval programs. So he's admitting there that there were past crash retrieval programs. That's interesting. Several of his predecessors have contradicted his claims. So now the needle has moved a little, right? The goalposts have moved. There is crash retrieval programs. We just haven't found anything. Before, it's always been, there's no crash retrieval programs. But now, okay, we do have the program, but we haven't found anything. So then is it going to change? Okay, we did find something, but it was only one, Dr. James Lakatsky, a former Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA analyst and missile expert who managed one UFO-centered program from 2008 to 2012, has claimed that the U.S. not only has recovered alien spacecraft, but that officials have gotten inside one. The United States, as Dr. Lakatsky wrote in a 2023 book, Mother Trucker. Here we go. 2023 book on that program, was in possession of a craft of unknown origin and had successfully gained access to its interior. This craft, as he briefed then U.S. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid in 2011, had no intakes, exhaust, wings, or control surfaces, no engine, fuel tanks, or fuel. Dr. Lakatsky's book, Inside the U.S. Government Covert UFO Program, Initial Revelations, okay, was co-authored with Las Vegas-based investigative reporter George Knapp and biochemist Dr. Colm Kelleher. Dr. Kelleher had worked alongside Dr. Lakatsky from the private contractor side of the DIA's once highly secretive UFO program, the Advanced Weapons System Application Program, or OSAP. When asked by UFO documentary filmmaker Jeremy Corbell whether or not he himself had entered this recovered UFO, Dr. Lakatsky replied, "I can't answer that." There you go. All right. Thank God. I'm done with that. So I'm going to pull that down because that is just, those ads were annoying. So this is interesting, right? And again, I've got a clip of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick on Event Horizon. So bear with me. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, right? One, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is admitting that there's past crash retrieval programs, right? Are they just the foreign material programs, right? Those same foreign retrieval programs, which are basically crash retrieval and reverse engineering programs, but more for terrestrial stuff. But I guess if something non-terrestrial came, they would deal with it too, right? It would just fall under their purview, right? He's basically saying they existed. We have recovered stuff, but not alien spacecraft. Clearly, other people are saying something different, right? But either way, at the beginning of 2023, he's deciding to start one of these programs, but with UAP in mind, right? In case there is a crash or in case we do shoot down something. So he's, I'll give it to him there. Curious what everyone thinks about that. But all right, let's get to this clip of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick talking about this, so y'all can hear directly from him. Oh, okay. Let's bring that up. All right. So basically, again, the podcast is Event Horizon, hosted by John Michael Gaudier. I hope I'm saying that right. And he sat down with Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and had an interesting conversation, right? And right here, you can see on the screen, UAP response and recovery and material transfer, right? All right, let's play this.
And I started with Space Command because that's where I came from. And that was a kind of an easy way to get this started to address congressional concerns. So there wasn't an actual thing. It was hey, we need to go have a conversation about how we're going to do this and get the teams started and documenting that. That goes into the J3, which is the Director of Operations, operational procedures and processes.
So you literally created a UFO recovery team, in short, in the event something like that were to happen.
It's any UAP recovery, and it was really more the process and procedure, because they already have people in place that would collect. Like if we shot down another Chinese high altitude balloon, it's that team that would go and collect it, right? It's those procedures and processes on how it gets notified and how we go and get it. And that would be now true for pretty much anything.
Does the government have an Indiana Jones warehouse where they have all of these foreign materials, Russian, Soviet, materials from the Cold War, planes and things like that they recovered, parts of missiles and everything else, that are archived somewhere and still kept secret because it's sensitive, because of foreign relations?
I wish we had a big old warehouse like that, but that would be fun. But we do, the IC and the DoD collects foreign material and they exploit it, just like foreign adversaries collect on us and exploit it. And so some of that stuff is stored in places.
I had to ask a question because obviously it's burning the internet down. So, all right, aliens. I got 2 more questions for you. And this one's just aliens in general. Is that treated as a national security concern? In other words, say you had found something. Wouldn't that be really scary to have an alien civilization, a presence here of very highly advanced nature, far beyond anything we can do? Does the government say that's a national security threat? In other words, would that have been a high priority? We need to build some missiles or something like that. Or do they just assume they'd have done something by now if they were here?
No, this will be a wholly unsatisfying answer. But when we had this conversation about if we actually found anything, what would the classification be and how would we handle it? Most of that, apart from the part of we're going to get NASA will take lead, but it's also going to be it's got to go up to the president for a decision on is it a national security issue or is it a humanity civilization issue? And so that's, I think, what would actually happen is it would get briefed over probably in partnership with the department by NASA up to the president for a decision.
Yeah, and I know certain presidents have thought about it because I believe Ronald Reagan asked Gorbachev if the Soviets would help us if there was an alien threat, and Gorbachev said yes. But again, that's presidential level. Now, my last question, and this is a fun one. In looking into all of these programs and past programs and finding not evidence of aliens, but did you find weird historical stuff that's eventually going to come out about programs that we did that's just really cool? In other words, we really did make this kind of a plane or something like that, and it's just not out there yet. Was there anything that you thought, wow, that's amazing?
Well, obviously, I would have to say I am very impressed and deeply proud of both the DoD and the IC's capabilities that they are developing and building to protect this nation. And I think everybody should take some solace in that. There are some really, really great technologies that are coming. Really great.
I'm hoping for fusion energy.
Well,
all right.
Everybody's hoping for that.
Everybody's hoping. Well, imagine if you had, I remember Lockheed was developing trying to develop a compact fusion reactor that could be launched into space that was the size of a truck. And I'm like, man, if we had that and we had fusion energy in space, it's Battlestar Galactica,
Oh, yeah. That'd be awesome.
It would be. All right, Dr. Kirkpatrick. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's a fusion energy conference coming up here at the end of next month, I think. We'll talk about the state of the art of the fusion community. I think that would be a fascinating thing to listen to.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Dr. Kirkpatrick, thank you for joining us and giving me so much time. And good luck in your endeavors from now on. And I will continue to watch Arrow under the new director and see what they find.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.